wizards. Now I got a bit of a random one for you, but have you guys seen those night cloaks? I keep seeing ads for them, and I think I need you guys' help in convincing my wife that I need one of those. So today though, we're gonna get a little bit more organized with medical gear, and I'm gonna show you a whole bunch of different stuff and a better way to look at it all. So let me go gather it up and head up to the deck and get started. We've shown you a lot of different medical kits kind of sporadically, but we've never really racked and stacked them in order of the ones we really liked or ones you should avoid. And I think we got some really good ones here to add to the mix to get us started also. So today we'll be ranking our medical kits we've seen and adding in the RTS IFAK kits with their 3 new rapid deploy options. For a lot of IFAKs, you get the pouch, you order it and it just comes with an open pocket, and then you need to source your own medical kit that's gonna fit in there, or you order a whole medical kit and it comes with everything and you got to figure out some way to organize it and something that it's going to fit inside. Like I have this Shaw ARC pouch that I keep in my car. It has a nice set of medical gear, but I had to come up with the sleeve, the items inside, and think of how to put it all together so it made sense. As a breath of fresh air, all 3 I'm showing you today are easy to deploy and get to life-saving equipment instead of digging through a pouch like how I have it set up. Seeing the way that these kits were done really made me look back at the channel and made me re-look at how we do medical kit reviews so I can save you a bunch of money and headache also. So going forward, and we'll tackle these ones in this way, we're gonna be looking at these pouches in terms of the contents, deployability, and mountability as kind of the main subjects that we're gonna base the score around. Now, we have reviewed some of these kits in the past, and let's place a few on our chart here. The Wilder Medical, I'll give a solid B. It has a great basic medical kit and it mounts well, but the whole system itself is just a large pouch that also doesn't disconnect from the belt at all. The HRT Medical, I'll also give a B. Now, it's probably my favorite pouch that mounts and deploys easily, along with being nice and organized, but it doesn't come with any medical gear, meaning you gotta hunt around for what you want in this area, and having a ready-to-go option would be far more ideal. For the Tacticon Armament Medical, I put this in C tier, but I think I'm being generous. Maybe just scoot it down a bit more. But it does mount well and deploys easily, along with including all the medical you want. The main issue with the Tacticon one is it's not good medical supplies. I mean, yeah, they're included. It's just probably not the things I would recommend, nor the things you would want in an emergency situation. And if they had some higher tier medical equipment, that would bump that medical kit way up the list. All right, I think I got 2 more. Next, I'll add in the Agilite MD2 in A tier. This kit is easily mountable, comes with an organizer tray for all your contents, and even lets you purchase all the bits to put it together right off the website. My only reservation on S tier is both a pro and a con, in that it's not elastic, so it can be hard to get larger kits inside the pouch. Lastly, we have the MyMedic pouch. Now, I asked Jason on this one, and he said it was a solid B. The included medical equipment is everything you would need, and it is all organized nicely. Jason did ding them for the RATS tourniquet that's included. It's just not ideal, and for the pouch being just too large to have with you all the time. I think with most of the medical kits you're seeing, they do something right, and then they don't include something else, and every single one of them seems like you're making some sort of concession. Well, I mean, maybe besides the Agilite one. Yes, I apologize. I'm getting over a horrible cold, so sorry I sound all nasally. But you usually end up with something like the Wilder, where you just have this open pouch and all the medical is included, or something like the HRT, where you do have a really nice pouch that's all organized and everything else, but then you have to go and source all the medical yourself. And what I'm hoping to see, and this is a little bit of foreshadowing, is that the RTS IFAKs remove some of that headache to give you a one-stop shop for a deployable and mountable IFAK that just comes with everything you need. Oh, biases, I almost forgot about that. Now, RTS did send us all of these medical pouches for review and kind of inspired me to relook at how we do our medical and rack and stack it better for all of you. Now, I don't really know RTS over there. I'm kind of just starting to talk to them, but we do have a discount code of TLDCO, so I'm sure that does make me biased in some way, but I'm still gonna tell you the same thing I always do. Don't take anything I say or any other YouTuber says as gospel. Do your own research so you can be the most educated consumer possible. I'm also not a medical expert, but I get to see a lot of these pouches, so I am counting on a lot of you guys with more of the medical background to comment down below as to some of your thoughts, maybe on some of the ones I already ranked and the ones I'm gonna show you today. Now, we have a bunch of options, so first, this one's actually pretty cool. Let's start with the RTS IFAK Mini. Trying not to be biased because I stuck this one in our Shaw review and I love this one already. Looking at the RTS IFAK Mini, we see good stuff already with a nice mountable kit in a smaller form factor. The top has a loop for the included Cat 5 tourniquet, which is great to see. Now, right off the bat, there isn't even an option. You get the good tourniquet, that's all you can choose from, and that's really how it should be. Next, there is elastic all around the outside of the medical pouch to give the whole system retention and also allow it to adapt to different sizes of the internal pouch if you were to use or add things into the setup. I'll be honest and say that I did have some concerns about this elastic, having used some other medical kits. I was pretty worried about this inside pouch working its way loose, but doing the Shaw belt review and the Bull Ultralight that's coming up next, I had no issues with this and it worked just fine. So I gotta eat a little bit of crow and say that with taking that Shaw belt on and off a billion times for that video and all the jumping around and different things I was doing for the Bull Ultralight, the medical kit stayed perfectly in place. I did mention to RTS that I was also concerned about the elastic coming loose over time. Like, that's just the way elastic works. It's just not gonna maintain that structure forever. And they actually told me that if customers have that issue, they'll just replace that outer elastic for them. So I was really surprised that they had already thought of that and already had a solid solution for the problem. Now, looking at the back, the rear attachment uses half MOLLE slots, so it's easy to connect into belts, full MOLLE or plate carriers, or just have a small transportable kit in your range bag. There's also a pass-through slot if you wanted to mount this directly on more civilian-style belts also. Full-on battle belts can be a pain to use the pass-through because you usually got to take all these different bits off and feed it through. And I really do recommend on those belts to use the actual MOLLE style connection. But on a more civilian style, it's much easier to just throw it through your belt loops and use this pass-through if you're going hiking with this or something like that and you're not actually connecting it into a belt in the MOLLE style. But ultimately, kudos for giving you options. I do like how there is kind of that tactical and kind of a more civilian use case that you don't necessarily need to be law enforcement. You could just be a hiker or someone who's going outdoors and wants to have a medical kit with them. There's an easy way to attach it to whatever you're bringing with you. Taking a look now at the internal pouch, we see a nice pull tab on either side that actually has a different texture and feel on it. So you can recognize that you're grabbing the IFAK when it's behind you or if you're blinded in some way. I really thought this was a nice small touch, and it's something you normally see on more of the higher end medical kits with that tactile and recognizable pull tab. Along the top of this internal pouch is also a nice loop area if you want to add in blood type or other personal information. One other bit I thought was interesting is you can also write on this removable red pull tab if you have pertinent medical information like no latex or whatever. You could just pen in your blood type also. Again, it's just a small touch, but it's super smart when there may be pertinent information you need to know about an incapacitated person. Sorry, I need to get something on my throat. And yes, pink is manly. I don't care what you say. To deploy, you just pull on the red tab to unwrap the entire kit. Here you can see our contents all organized within the interior of the kit with bungee tie downs. I like this because the little deployment tab could also be used to like connect into an IV hook, or if you're out in the woods, you could just put a knife through there to like a tree or something and have the whole thing held in place. Now, looking at the internal medical components that actually come with it, first we have our compressed gauze, gloves. Real quick here, I want to note they use blue gloves instead of black. That seems like a small thing, but the blue makes better contrast to red, so you can better tell how much blood is lost instead of just having red on black gloves that you can't really see very well. So again, one more small touch. But there's also an Israeli bandage, quick clot, that's pretty fancy, and compact chest seals. Is it the kitchen sink of all the things you could possibly need in an IFAK? Well, no, but for a mini range IFAK, I just love it. And you can tell there's this entire focus on stopping blood loss and keeping somebody from bleeding out. And we look at this, the contents are all high quality, it's easy to throw in a bag, and it's organized in a smart way that we can get to everything. The bungees also mean you can add and remove different bits of medical item. If your knowledge grows about the situation you're in and you learn a little bit more about what you want to have with you, or maybe something you don't need to have, there is some adaptability built in, so that's there too. For the great included kit, mountability, and customization options, I placed the RTS IFAK Mini in A tier. This is a great medical kit that you can throw on your belt, or in your bag to take to the range with you. That takes out all the guesswork. I will say that even having no issues with the elastic, I would have liked to see a small bit of hook and loop inside of here just to add that extra little bit of security to the belt so I know this thing is just never gonna come loose. Again though, I didn't have any issues. I just think that would prevent any sort of silliness from happening if you were to like go diving to the ground or something with this. All right though, let's put this one away, and next let's look at the big boy version. And I know you guys will yell at me about the IFAK not being staged, and I did that on purpose. And this is the IFAK Complete. Now, if you look on the website, it's technically called the Rapid Deploy IFAK, but for some reason, they're all called the same thing. So we're doing our part in helping their naming convention along. Here we see the same thing as the mini version, just blown up. Again, we have the same elastic sleeve to hold our tourniquet in this outer slot, and again, a top tier Cat 5 tourniquet. Now, like I said, I did this on purpose because I staged all the other tourniquets, but when you get these IFAKs, they're gonna come to you like this. Everyone on Reddit, I think there's entire people's careers are just telling you that you didn't stage your tourniquet. So this is an important thing to tell you. When it comes like this, unwrap this, look up some videos on how to stage your tourniquets, have them set up, because when an emergency happens is not the time to figure out how this works. You want this to be quickly and easily deployable at a moment's notice, so have it prepared for that ahead of time. And yes, I know this is not staged. It's on purpose to teach everyone a lesson about staging them. Don't make a million, you're gonna do anyway, aren't you? You're gonna make a million comments about staging. It's fine, it's fine, just put them in there. Our outer sleeve is the same as the mini with an elastic wrap that goes around the entire inner pouch to keep it secured, while giving some flexibility on the inner pouch size. Along the rear, we see the same half MOLLE slots for belt or gear mounting, along with the same belt pass-through slot. It's really just the mini, but enlarged up a step, and everything I'm seeing, yep, it all makes sense. The tabs on the side have also been enlarged, but keep that same design with a different textured feel so you can easily identify this even when behind you or blinded like we mentioned before. Deployment is again simple as you pull on the side tab to release the inner pouch. Like the mini, you have a hook and loop area to add in blood type or other patches, along with that same removable tab to write in your blood type or any other specific allergies and what you may want to know. Now, I like this a lot better than the mini because it's a lot larger, and I think it would be a lot harder, you know, if you've had some critical information here, like I'm allergic to something, it would be a lot harder to be missed in a critical situation with this larger red tab here than we had on the mini. And you would think it would be seen because the red tab also functions as the pull tab that opens up the entire pouch to reveal the organized internal medical component. Now, here is a full IFAK. I mean, all the things I would want without being a full-on medic. Scissors, 3M tape, compressed gauze, Israeli bandage hidden back here, along with lubricant for the nasal pharyngeal airway, Sharpie triage marker, a glow stick, gloves, again in blue, quick clot, see, that's fancy, and the compact hyphen chest seals. Oh, I almost forgot this one, a CPR mask with a one-way valve. Good Lord. Now, what I love about this is that it's all usable by most average people without including silly stuff that I don't think most people need, like decompression needles. Now, are decompression needles valuable? Yes, absolutely, by those medical professionals, but by most people, absolutely no. This is just a smart overall IFAK for most of the things you would actually need with this tourniquet and CPR valves. Now, though, I will add in a caveat to drive home some training. This is stuff you need to know how to use before a situation occurs. Same with staging our tourniquet. You need to have the muscle memory of using CPR valves, being trained in CPR, knowing how to use a tourniquet, because when you respond to an emergency, you're only gonna rise to the level of your training. So go out there and train and be good with this stuff. So if a situation happens, you're prepared for it. I will also note that both the IFAK Complete and the IFAK Mini, the internal components, can be purchased on the RTS website if you needed a refill or wanted to outfit some different kit you already have. The price of just the individual kits isn't too insane, but it's a much, much better deal when you buy the kit and the pouch and everything all included in one. Plus, I think I can save you even more when you combine it all together when you use our code. Overall, though, I love this. I think the IFAK Complete is just a little bit larger, but a ton more useful, all while still being able to be added to my belt or my carrier. And having a fully equipped and organized kit like this would also be perfect for a range bag. The IFAK Complete just nails all the things I want to see, and I placed it in S tier. Again though, much like the Mini, the only thing I would like to see improved on it would be to have that little bit of hook and loop added into the inside. But in a world of all these different crappy medical kits, this was surprising and impressive to see. One more side note, you can also use the Agilite molly hanger if you want to be able to quickly clip this into the rear of your carrier without having to molly it in and out every time you use it. All right, definitely love both the Complete and the Mini. All right, for the next one, we're gonna do the RTS Rapid Deploy IFAK again. So for this one, we're just gonna call it the RTS IFAK, and I think this is the OG version. Here we see a much larger IFAK, and this looks like the original that the other two were derived from. Good grief. Manly. Along the outside, we have a set of scissors that are held in by hook and loop tabs that also allow you to flip the scissor orientation if you wanted to do that. There is also a tourniquet that is held in on the side with bungees. Interestingly, this is also the only one that lets you pick which tourniquet you want, and I highly recommend the Cat 5, but it also makes it the most expensive in the lineup of all the other choices we've shown you today. Along the front is a molly section to add in carabiners or attach another gear, but things are starting to get kind of large if you do that. And at the top, we see the same loop panel and red tab you can write on. Now, I don't love this one nearly as much because I think the Mini and the Complete do it far better, where this information really isn't exposed and it stays discreet until the information is actually needed. Having this just out there screaming to the world that you're allergic to ragweed probably isn't the most exciting thing. The rear of the OG IFAK has the same bones we saw earlier with the included molly tabs, along with full-size molly slots on this one, so not the halves, so you can connect into various gear, but you could have some issues connecting into some belt setups. There's also a belt slot, but noted that it's located more near the top and would need to be placed on the outside hip if you were out there hiking with it. Now though, I'll also say that I don't think this pouch, the IFAK OG, is nearly as versatile as the others, because there's no way to really, detach the internal pouch and hand it off to somebody else. Nor is there really a way to easily take it off me and lay it out if I needed to perform medical on myself. If you look at it in the form factor, it's also fairly large. And as we mentioned with the MyMedic and kind of where that one got dinged, the size starts to put a limiter on what you can really do with it. I think it's a bit too awkward for belt mounting and it doesn't have half molly slots, and I'd likely fix this to a carrier on a support side or just use it standalone as a portable medical kit. To deploy, we again see the same red pull tab that unravels the entire IFAK to allow for quick and easy access. We see the same contents as our IFAK Complete with the nasal airway tube and lube, gloves again in blue, 3M tape, CPR valve, glow stick, yay for blood and raves, Sharpie triage marker, compressed gauze, Israeli dressing hidden in this pouch, along with compact chest seals and that fancy quick clot. So we see those same contents, which I think are a bit smarter than like a Circ Gen 2 that I normally use, with like decompression needles and an eye patch covers and everything else, that I think are far more focused for like a medic, whereas this feels a lot more for a prepared citizen. Now, even with all the same contents and ease of access, the size of the pouch makes it harder to mount, along with the inability to hand it off to someone else. For that reason, I placed the RTS IFAK OG in that B tier, kind of B to C. Being the most expensive out of all these kits is also a bit of a ding, but I will say out of all these options for a car or travel kit, I do recommend this one, as I really do think it really stands on its own. And I'm gonna replace this random Shaw pouch I have in my car with all this stuff randomly in here for this larger and easier to access RTS IFAK. But in terms of where I recommend you use things, I do think the IFAK Mini and the IFAK Complete shine a whole lot more on like battle belts and plate carrier setups, where I think this big honker just does a lot better in like a bag or in your car or something like that. But that's all the medical kits I have to show you today. So please sound off in the comments if you have some thoughts about what we talked about today, or if you have some other medical kits that you know about that you think are better than this, or you want to see us compared, I'll make sure to pick those up and we'll see how they do on our ranking chart. But I hope this video on RTS medical kits and medical stuff in general was useful in your purchasing decisions to help demystify some of putting your own medical kits together and what you may want to have in your own medical pouches. I want to say thanks to all of our Patreon members and all of our YouTube supporters. You make it possible we can test out all this medical gear, see all this kit, and then come back and show it to all of you and say, hey, is this worth my money? Is this worth my money? And what is actually worth your time and energy? And I want to say thanks to everyone that likes, comments, and subscribes. Comment down below what your thoughts on these are, and I want to hear your thoughts on all the other medical equipment on the market and what I may need to pick up next. All right, though, Walsh out. I haven't got to edit this video yet to hear just how bad I sound with my cold. I am sure, God, there's going to be 10,000 comments like, hey, go stage your tourniquet. I know, it's a learning lesson. I left a learning lesson here for all of you. See, I set all the other ones up. I even did, see, this is a smart thing I read about online. Even when you do the little time marker, put it to the side here, because what can happen is when these sit for a long time, they can be very, very difficult to peel up. So when you're sitting there working with somebody, it can be very hard to peel up sometimes. So put them at a bit of an angle. This is just like a weird, I think, OCD thing that medical people do. So it's a bit of an angle, so it's easier to grab that tab when you go to deploy it. So every little thing, helps to save you some time. Do that when you set it all up. But overall, I think these RTS setups are fantastic. I'm going to be putting them on my belt setups. I really like what they did. And I hope we see more of that moving into the future, where people don't just design a pouch and then expect you to figure out what goes in it and what fits in there. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. All those things should come included. Take out the guesswork. Show me what you designed it for and include it with the kit so that I can refill it, number one, at the end, and then also have everything all set to go. Next video. Man, this is a fantastic one. I mentioned it that I took this out with me to the Bull video, Bull Ultralight, when I was testing it. That pistol was just fantastic. I was really surprised. I was expecting a snappy pistol, expecting something totally different. So we'll do that next, and follow up on that. I think that's going to put us to the end of the year, and I'm going to give you my top picks for the year, which is going to be super fun. I'll go over all my favorite medical, favorite plate carriers, all that stuff. All right, I got to go take some more medicine. I got to get inside. Thankfully, it's warm today. All right, you guys got to get out of here. It's time to go.